The collapse of the banking sector has started. We have news coming from the FDIC that they are not confident in a lot of the banking system. I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the answer, and Bitcoin is racing up today, back over $70,000. We'll be looking at why that's the case in today's video as well. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that way you can see this video and future videos as quickly as possible, because the market is racing up and you do not want to be the person that sees the video 4 hours after it's published in case there's some big news. Also, Margex is running a massive campaign right now to give free BOEM, Book of Meme tokens. This is one of the largest meme coins out there. And as you trade more on the platform, you can get more of this airdrop. So the airdrop is going for about 2 weeks. I have not placed any trades yet, but I'm definitely going to be taking part in this. All you have to do, click the link underneath the video. If you sign up with that link, you'll be automatically allowed to start trading and you'll be able to start getting some of these tokens. They go through how you claim this as well. There'll be a claim button as well. We'll talk about it. But if you've already signed up with my link, you do need to do one thing. When you click the link underneath the video, if you've already signed up, you still need to go to this page and there'll be a little button that says participate. And you'll click it and then it will start counting your trading. So you do have to press something if you want to get in on this free airdrop. Again, if you've already signed up using my link, make sure you're logged in. Click on the link underneath the video, hit participate, and you'll start being able to trade and getting some of that free BOEM. As you trade more, you'll get more tokens. Now, how this works, this is the volume. So if you did a $10,000 trade at 100x, very degen, you would hit $1 million in volume. And if you did, let's say you did $1,000, but you did on 10x and you did it over and over, you could get higher and higher prices, right? It depends how many times you trade and how much you trade and how much leverage you're on, all the way up to a $5,000 BOEM airdrop. They're doing up to $5 million in BOEM. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. You can get some free tokens. If you want to sell at the end, you can always sell too. And you can withdraw to some other account if you want. Now, Bitcoin Magazine shows the Bitcoin ETFs are swallowing up Bitcoin. Okay. We have Bitcoin racing up today. $70,500, breaking out of this trend. Okay, this is pretty bullish. We have a higher high as well. Before, we only got to about 70,600. This was back on May 27. Now we reached about 71,000 and got rejected. So right in the same general range. We do have actually a good amount of volume coming from the Bitcoin ETFs today. IBIT last time I checked was 750 million, about halfway through the trading day. As I said, a lot of ETFs are swallowing up. A lot of ETFs are being announced, like Hong Kong saw 32 million in inflows. I covered some of this morning, so I'll keep it short. But ETF in Australia is starting to trade today. Maybe they're buying some. Thailand SEC is going to approve or has approved the first spot Bitcoin ETF. The Bitcoin US ETF bought 105 million worth of Bitcoin yesterday. And why is this? As I have said, M2 money supply is increasing. Okay. M2 money supply is increasing, causing people to look for hard assets, causing people to have to invest to keep up with the rate of money printing. Right? Everyone looks at inflation at 2 or 3% and thinks if they get 4 or 5% that they're coming out ahead. But those are arbitrary goods and services. Well, goods. Those are arbitrary goods that they have listed there that they swap in and out to make it look good. Okay? So you really do need a higher amount of appreciation than 2 or 3%. You need more like 10%, 12%, 15% to actually make money or to even stay up with inflation or to stay up with the increasing money supply. Now, what else is happening? Bitcoin miners are not selling. Take a look at this. CleanSpark, a large publicly traded Bitcoin miner, mined 417 Bitcoin in May and only sold 2.43 Bitcoin. Okay, so they sold 0.5% of the Bitcoin that they mined. Imagine you're a person that makes $5,000 in a month and you sell, I don't know, $50. Is that right? Is that math right? 1%. If you use $50 in a month, and you were able to make $5,000 in a month, I think a lot of people would say that you're probably doing pretty well, right? And of course, they do other things as well. They issue some debt. They maybe issue more shares, but they're not trading off Bitcoin. They're not selling Bitcoin off because they think it's going to appreciate. Same thing with Riot. One of the world's largest publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies sold 0 Bitcoin in May. So they produced only 215 Bitcoin, but they still didn't sell any. They hold about 9,100 Bitcoin. All right, it's interesting. It's interesting to see these miners hold on to their Bitcoin. And I want to get to the banking information, but first, Metamask has some big news. Now, a lot of people miss this because it was during the bear market, but Consensus, which built Metamask, raised $450 million at a $7 billion valuation. And Metamask had 30 million users. Again, this is back in 2022, like 2 years ago. 2-year anniversary since this happened. This has been a massive player. And one of the most difficult things in crypto, especially when you start, is tracking all your cryptos. MetaMask has made this easier with their new portfolio tracker. You can connect your MetaMask wallets. You can trade, you can swap, you can buy, sell, you can stake, you can bridge, you can send and receive cryptos all on Metamask Portfolio. You can buy crypto how you want, when you want with MetaMask. Access to 75 different tokens, 75 plus different tokens on 8 chains. Instantly fund your wallet with secure payment options. You can save on gas fees and time. And again, most importantly, you can track a bunch of tokens, DeFi, NFTs, transactions all in one place. They do have liquid staking and validator staking as well. Keep in mind, this does let you self-custody your crypto, but also keep track of it easily. You can visit the link underneath the video because I am partnered with MetaMask, and you can just connect your MetaMask wallet today. Okay, FDIC just reported that 63 banks are on the brink of insolvent collapse. This is coming from Michael Burry, Stock Tracker, and there are other people reporting this too. I just briefly talked about this morning, but I want to explain this a little bit more. Unrealized losses on available for sale and held to maturity securities soared by $39 billion to $517 billion in the first quarter. The surge was driven by higher unrealized losses on residential mortgage-backed securities, a result of rising mortgage rates in the first quarter. This marks the 9th consecutive quarter of unusually high unrealized losses since the Federal Reserve started hiking interest rates in the first quarter of 2022. Okay, unrealized losses, so they haven't sold, on available for sale and held to maturity securities soared by $39 billion. So a lot of banks, they talk about mortgage-backed securities, but even like treasury notes, right? If you bought treasury notes when they were yielding 3% because you were trying to beat out other banks and trying to offer 2.8% in interest rates when other banks were offering 1 or 2%. So you buy a bunch of treasury notes. You have to buy long dated to get those kinds of rates or yields. And then they go up higher to 4%, then 5%. And you're stuck in all these long dated treasury notes. You're stuck. People want their money out because they're not getting offered a high interest rate anymore. 3% is much lower than 4 or 5 at the other banks. So then there's a run on the bank. They have to sell off assets at a loss. That can be happening in other ways as well. Now, what is the U.S. doing to try to make sure that these 63 banks don't collapse? Well, one of the things that they're doing, they announced this recently, they're doing buybacks. $2 billion liquidity support. Treasury buybacks are scheduled for every week over the next 2 months. They're doing $2 billion a week. Just $2 billion, not that much, just $2 billion to help out the people that are underwater. Okay, so this is the first time that this has happened in 20 plus years. U.S. Treasury doing buybacks of U.S. notes. Okay, this is basically I don't want to say a bailout, but it's injecting liquidity into the system. So when you look at this chart, M2 money supply, okay, some people think that M2 is not really growing, that inflation's coming down. The government's still printing. There are still problems out there that they're trying to fix by throwing more money at it. They're trying to throw $2 billion a week the banks trying to make sure that they don't collapse so that they don't have something else that they had to pay out even more for, so that it doesn't undermine the confidence in the US banking system. Again, it just reiterates the fact that you want Bitcoin. And, this might sound like some of my other videos, but it's true. We continue to see reasons why these companies continue to hold Bitcoin. This company continues to hold Bitcoin. People keep on buying Bitcoin. Why is it so interesting to so many people? Because governments get greedy. People in the government that are elected don't always look out for the welfare of the country. They're not always willing to make the tough decision that makes them have to deal with something difficult now. They'd rather push it off. They'd rather stimulate the economy. They'd rather be able to smooth things over so they get reelected, or so that they get ins with different companies. They continue to go to war to be able to help out their buddies in government contracts, right? So what do you do with countries that don't appreciate your time, your energy? You're putting your energy into some kind of currency, right? Whether it's a US dollar or a pound or a Turkish lira, you're putting all that stored labor into a currency. Your life is your currency, essentially, right? If you have $1 that you made a month ago, you had to put some of your life on the line. You had to spend time to get that $1, and your country is devaluing it every day because of this thing or something else. So what do? You put it in something that is completely fair, completely open for everyone, is unbiased, can be sent across the world, is censorship resistant. Okay? A lot of people want this. A lot of people will understand this one day. A lot of people don't understand it now. So that is why people continue to get more and more excited about Bitcoin, because unfortunately, all roads lead to Bitcoin. We can't really trust everyone in the world, right, to do the best thing for us. We can't trust the politicians to necessarily do the best thing for us, but we can vote with our money, which is the most important thing, maybe the most important way to vote, right? Vote with your money. Put it into Bitcoin. Not financial advice, because there are price fluctuations and you need to understand it. If you don't understand it, if you're not as bullish as me, maybe you need to go do some more research. But one thing that I've noticed over time, a lot of people, and I've said this about family members, I've said this about friends, or to them as well, but like, if you're willing to work for money, you should be willing to research on where to put your money, how to invest your money. A lot of people just think it's like you're investing because you're trying to get rich from your investments. No, you're trying to preserve purchasing power. That's like the baseline. You have to invest because otherwise you will lose. I guarantee you housing over the next 20 years is not going to stay at the same price as inflation. It's not going to go up 2% a year on average. Okay? So while inflation and CPI, PPI, PCE show 1%, 2% inflation, 3% inflation, that's not how much your life is going to go up in price. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Again, if you want part of this massive airdrop, you can start trading on Margex underneath the video. If you already have an account, maybe put up a couple trades. Get some free BOEM. Let me know your thoughts though. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.